All right, all right. NFL Week 15 just wrapped up with the Steelers and Dolphins. Steelers dust off the Dolphins, 28-15. Somewhat of fairly boring game. Kind of got a little more interesting toward the end. Obviously, if you have money on it, it's always interesting. But pretty sure that game went pretty much according to plan. The Dolphins are pretty much eliminated for playoffs. And so we go on. So hopefully everyone's making money. Hopefully we are all cashing out. Somewhat of an interesting week this week. A lot of favorites cast out. A lot of favorites kind of did their thing. Cowboys eliminate, well, not really eliminate themselves, but basically are done for the year. We don't have CJ today, so kind of just going to try to run through this as quickly as I can. Go ahead, share the screen, boom. And we can kind of see what is up. Somehow, okay, this is not. Let's see if we can share this screen then. What is going on? Do the old unplug, plug back in trick. Okay. Let's see what happens. Somebody having some issues. It's weird. Okay. Let me see. Okay, for whatever reason, I can just share this with one window. All right, but that basically does what I wanted to do anyway. So here we are. All right, what a week, bro. What a week. The NFL, I feel like I'm pretty in tune with what's happening right now. The NFL Pro Wrestling League is very entertaining. I'll say that. Starting off with a interesting Thursday night game. You got the Falcons taking on the Bucks. Falcons upset. Falcons +6 over the Bucks. Bucks at home. Bucks with playoff aspirations. And legitimately, Kyle Pitts has one of the greatest games I've ever seen in terms of a stat line. 166 yards, 3 touchdowns, 11 receptions, legit video game numbers, insane. Watching that game, you could just tell like they wanted the Falcons to win at all costs. There are a lot of interesting games here. Browns lose to the Bears by blowout. That was interesting. I don't think anyone really expected that game to happen like that. Obviously, cold weather, a lot of running didn't play out like that. Caleb Williams came out there chucking it and legitimately blew out the Bears or the Browns. Supposedly, Shador is getting sabotaged, but I don't know, dude. I feel like we're seeing a trend here, especially on a very favorite heavy week. You can see a trend here with a lot of these games. So Bears, Texans, blowouts, Eagles, blowout. Randomly, the Commanders not really randomly. I think they have a better team. Giants are missing basically a lot of their starters, so that one wasn't too surprising. One thing I'm noticing though is that um, favorites at home and a big spread tend to blow out. You look at every single big spread favorite at home, they just crushed. Um, how the Bengals scored 0 points against the Ravens is beyond me. I don't think anyone had that on their bingo card. Um, Chargers ending Patrick Mahomes' season early, blew out his ACL, and basically knocked the Chiefs out of the playoffs. What a season, bro. Josh Allen and the Bills. Another game that's interesting. Another game where, I'm starting to realize like the way the way that the Chiefs were last year, that's how the Bills are this year. So we shouldn't really bet on the Bills as if they're like a normal team. They should be bet like the Chiefs last year. So any game that's like close spread and they get down early, just know that they're going to come back. It's just their MO apparently. Rams over Lions. Now, when I first saw this bet, I made it instantly and thought it was going to be an obvious winner. It didn't look good early on, but the Rams rallied, came back, and obviously covered the spread. MVP year for Stafford. I just didn't really see them. I couldn't see them losing to the Lions. Also, we always lose to the Lions, so this had to be the year if we were going to break it. I'm very surprised to see the Saints sweeping the Panthers. Uh, I don't. It's very rare we're ever going to see like the worst team, the less talented team sweep the better team, but it's the NFL apparently. Um, Titans Niners again. Niners at home blowout. Um, and then Seahawks. Seahawks probably the only team at home that didn't cover the spread, which is interesting. I think for that game, with all the narrative around Philip Rivers, it was just too much of a layup if the Seahawks would have just covered that. They were lucky to actually win the game, to be honest. And also, it was a mismatch. Philip Rivers was way more solid. The Colts are still very much the same team, even without Daniel Jones. So I think that was probably just a misplaced line. Broncos shock Packers. Apparently, the Broncos they've only really lost to the Packers at home like one time. Little historical stats like that are kind of crazy, but to still happen in like 2025, we're still talking about stats like that is insane. The Broncos at home as an underdog, it's a pretty good lock for the rest of the year. And then Vikings Cowboys. At this point, you had about 8 favorites, 5 underdogs. You expect that to kind of balance out. So taking the Vikings early would have been smart. Now I saw a lot of Instagram books take the Cowboys. Cowboys at home, Cowboys better offense, Cowboys with playoff implications. No one really knows what JJ McCarthy is. So you just assume that, okay, like, duh, of course, Cowboys should win this. But for whatever reason, when nobody believes in JJ McCarthy, that's when this dude just turns into Tom Brady and just becomes super, super amazing. So I kind of knew to kind of just chill out, wait till halftime and see what happens. And sure enough, it's tied up at halftime, and the Vikings kind of just took control real early. Then we had Steelers Dolphins. Now, this game looked close. You didn't really get much looking at spreads, stats early on, money, public bets, all that type of stuff. And for the most part, you didn't really get an inclination that the Steelers are going to start to win this game until about halftime. Steelers dominate third quarter, and then fourth quarter, Miami starts to make it look respectable, but Steelers fairly much in control the whole way, and you get a pretty easy win. And I'm pretty sure they're going to go on to win the division. I just don't think the Ravens have enough at this point. Ravens 7-7. I think they need to play each other one more time, but I'm pretty sure the Steelers just got their number this year, to be honest. Mike Tomlin tends to always have a winning record, tends to always make the playoffs. So I just really don't think the Ravens are going to do it, but we'll see. It should be an interesting game. Should come down the wire. Now we have Rams Seahawks. This is going to be definitely a game of the week. Rams have notoriously not been great in this Thursday night spot. Last time I remember seeing them here, they lost to the Niners when they were up huge favorites. -1 Rams makes sense. It's a very tight game, coin flip game, but it's in Seattle, and the Rams have already won the first game. Not only did the Rams win the first game, we actually got the first game by blowout. So if I had to bet on this game, I would definitely lean Seattle. The home team, if the teams are somewhat even, the home team in division actually matters a lot. It's a really big advantage, especially on a short week. So you got to like Seattle here, but the Rams team is just designed to be better than Seattle. We seem to know Darnold really well. We seem to have just, as much as you could. We seem to have the pass rush. We picked him off like 4 times the last time. Obviously, Devontae Adams is hurt, which is going to make things kind of tough. But just all in all, like the Rams are sort of built to just be better than Seattle. And so I would naturally just assume that, go ahead and just take them out. But same record at home. I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle gets this one. So I would not be looking Rams here. If they're going to drop a spot, I would say this. The only other caveat I would say Rams potentially pull this off. This game comes down to the wire, comes down to like a field goal or something, but Stafford, MVP run, he gets this done, right? Stafford versus Aaron Donald, MVP on the line, he gets this done. We end the conversation with Drake May, and it's obvious that Stafford, during this game, wins the MVP. So I'm going to go Rams there and expect them to get them done, regardless of the home field advantage. Okay, Eagles Commanders. Now the Eagles have to win out to try to get into the playoffs, and I think they will. The Commanders, they are missing Jaden Daniels. Mariota's not good enough. The Eagles kind of big brother them all the time. I'm not sure if they played earlier in the year, but if they did, the Eagles probably won. Eagles are clearly a better team here, so I would not be surprised if the Eagles just sweep and get them out of there. Packers, Bears. Now we just saw this matchup. This is another division game. Obviously, the Packers won the first game. Now it's at home. Bears are actually leading in the division. Packers are still favored. I feel like the Bears are going to win this game. That -1.5 is interesting for the Packers, especially coming off a loss, but Bears just coming off a win. Bears at home. It's going to be cold. They already can play well. They got the home field advantage. The teams are fairly evenly matched. I do think they're going to split. I really don't see the Packers sweeping the Lions and sweeping the Bears. I just don't see that happening this year. So let's look Packers. Let's look Bears there. And we get some new narratives. Chargers, Cowboys. It's so funny. These teams are always inverses of each other. Usually we used to say that the Chargers were the AFC Cowboys. The one thing about the Chargers defense is that they get a lot of takeaways. The Chargers defense is really good at getting picks. So Dak will throw a pick this game. I guarantee it. Desperation game for Dallas, at home for Dallas, afternoon game. Spreads -1. The Chargers clearly have a better record than them. I just expect the Chargers to win this game. I know a lot of people are going to pull for Dallas, but it's done. It's done, unfortunately. Buccaneers Panthers. This is going to be the first of a couple series. They're going to play each other like a couple times within the next couple weeks. Panthers at home, both teams coming off a loss. I do expect both home teams to win. This is one where I feel like Buccaneers are going to be favored for no reason. They usually are, but I do expect that the Panthers are just going to win this one. Teams are fairly evenly matched. The home team usually has the advantage, and I like them +3 anyway. So just look for their running game to look really solid. Defense is pretty decent usually anyway. Now the Bucs are the better team talent-wise, but I just feel like these teams are going to split, and it makes more sense for them to go home games than to go away. Vikings Giants is an interesting one. Giants should be favored, so -3 makes sense. Now, what I'll say here is that yeah, the Giants are not going to win this game. The Giants don't have any starters. That's the main issue. It's just Jackson Dart out there with a bunch of third string guys. So McCarthy should win this. My only issue with this game is that McCarthy really only plays well when there's no expectations on him. Now that they're favored and everyone's going to be on them, expect McCarthy to lay an egg. So this is a game where I would actually like lean Jackson Dart to kind of come out and prove himself versus McCarthy just cruising and crushing these dudes because the guy doesn't play well when there's expectations. It's usually when they're an underdog that they do well. Bills, Browns, Shador Sanders, man. The gift that keeps on giving. Hopefully they give him the right plays this time, you know? 3-11. Here's the deal. They didn't give me the right plays. They called a weird two-point conversion play. I could have just legitimately just scored and tied it up. The Browns are not trying to win games. That's the one thing that I can promise you. The Browns are not trying to win games. So no matter what happens, they're not going to win this. Do I think they cover the spread? Potentially, but I wouldn't bet on anything with the Browns because they are not trying to win. So tanking is the word that I would use. Chiefs, Titans, the Chiefs without Patrick Mahomes, I have no idea why they're favored here. This should be an obvious one for the Titans. Titans have no reason not to win this game, to be honest. And they got Gardner Minshew and whatnot, but to be honest, Titans should win this game. Bengals, Dolphins. Dolphins are a very weird team. Very, very weird team. Both teams have really nothing to play for. Obviously, the Dolphins have a better record. They can move the ball, I would say. They're also going to be at home, which is favorable. But yeah, I could just see Joe Burrow having fun this game. Dolphins are not going to be throwing crazy defense or efforts. So Bengals should easily win that game, especially with a spread like that. It should be very easy in the Bengals' favor to cover that. Yeah, Dolphins ain't beating the Bengals in a shootout. It's just not going to happen. Points, yeah. All right, Jets, Saints. Saints are up 4. Tyler Shug looks like he's like the exact opposite of who's the other guy? Rattler. Spencer Rattler. My issue with him is that he too many times he's the reason why the team loses. You know, like it's almost like he finds ways to lose the game, where this other guy is the exact opposite. So the Jets are going to lose this game. I don't even know doesn't really matter how exactly. They're just not going to win. Jaguars, Broncos. Broncos at home are not losing. These niggas are not losing at home. I don't know what it is, the mile high air quality or whatever, but I like the Jaguars. They're not beating the Broncos at home. Packers couldn't do it. These guys definitely can do it. Falcons, Cardinals. Another interesting game here. Both teams are weird. Both teams cannot be trusted. The Falcons are clearly the better team because they actually have real starting players still, where the Cardinals don't really have anybody. Because the Cardinals don't really have anybody, you can't really bet on them comfortably. So you got to just take Atlanta by default and just know that it's going to be a very ugly game, especially with Arizona being at home. But Kirk Cousins, veteran player, Kyle Pitts emerging, Bijan Robinson. There's no way Atlanta should lose this game, but I do not like betting on Atlanta in any spot. Raiders, Texans. This is one of the games where I do expect the Texans to actually blow out the Raiders. Very similar line to what we saw last week with the -14 at home. If you see that at home, those teams usually cover those lines. The Texans have been a team that has covered that sort of a type of line fairly consistently. It's one of the only big spread lines we have all day. Yeah, all these other games are very, very close line. So yeah, I do expect that's one of the ones where I do expect the Texans to come out there and just take care of business fairly easily. Then after that, we have Steelers Lions. I don't know why Lions are 7-point favorites here. I understand they're at home, but just look at the records of the two teams. It's not like they're that much better than the Steelers. I will say their running game is better. Their offense is more prolific, but the Steelers' defense can definitely get the Jared Goff. So this game seems like it could be more interesting than what the spread is laying out here. 7 points is also somewhat of a rug pull sort of line as well. To put out 7 points, it's weird. It's almost like the books are potentially looking for the Lions to crush here. So I just want to double check what the split is. Okay, so the actual line has moved down to 6.5. So I don't know why it's 7 over here. Even at 6.5, it's still majority of people are on the Lions, but not crazy. Everyone thinks the Lions are going to win this game. Will they? I mean, the Lions are the better team. They're also at home. In a dome. In theory, the Lions should win this game. Steelers' defense is really good, and they can shut them down for sure. But Lions coming off a loss to the Rams, playoff aspirations. I can see the Lions definitely winning this game more easily than I can see the Steelers winning this game. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think that spread looks interesting. I think that probably gonna end up being a closer game than whatever that spread entails, but definitely see what happens. In the last game, Patriots Ravens. It's gonna be an interesting game. Patriots already have their sort of playoff hopes already sort of bottled up. Coming off a loss to the Bills, interesting. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens looked really good against the Bengals this past Sunday. 24-0 is pretty impressive for a team that is very offensive minded. meaning or just showing you that their defense is kind of back. Problem is they're playing one of the best teams in the NFL right now. Yes, Josh Allen was able to do what he did, but again, Josh Allen is like the NFL's Joker team right now. So I'm not sure why the Ravens are even favored here. -3 is an interesting line in and of itself. It's a very rug pullish type line. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots win this game. Um, I feel like the Ravens do need it though. The Ravens at home, 7-7. Patriots coming in. Patriots are facing probably the best defensive team the Ravens have put out in a long time. -3, a -7. Those are interesting spreads. Let me see. Let me just double check where the crowd is at real quick on the Ravens game. Let's see. Okay, so everyone thinks that New England is going to win as an underdog. So New England's a public dog. So another issue with this game is that it's a primetime Sunday game. That's what's going to control this more than anything else. The line moves toward the favorite, and everyone's on the underdog. So this is a public dog game. You have 74% of people on the New England spread, New England +3, and the line moved toward Baltimore. So this is just based on the line movement, this is a rug pull waiting to happen. This is NFL trying to line up the Ravens as essentially the pick here. There's no way that you would set a line like this when most people are on the Patriots, and then you move the line toward the favorite when most people are on they want the public dog. So it looks like the Ravens are going to cover the spread fairly easily based on what the line is showing here just early on. And if that's the case, we probably are going to see a very underdog heavy day to justify that. Colts Niners. It's gonna be interesting game. Let me just look at this real quick. You would probably see a very underdog heavy day. So I want to literally look. I do think Rams are going to win this game just off of narrative for the MVP. Eagles, that's favorites. Packers, Bears. Pretty sure Bears are going to win that game. I don't know why Dallas is a favorite here, so I think the Chargers win this game. So it's 2 underdogs. So underdog. Panthers at home have a great record. Another underdog. Vikings, Giants. To be honest, I would not be surprised if the Giants win that game. I would not be surprised. What's his name does not play well when he has pressure on him. That could be 4 against the spread. Bills, Browns. Let me give that to the Bills. So the Bills cover that. Browns ain't going to try to win. Titans, Chiefs. I like the Titans, to be honest. I think Gardner Minshew can do some dumb shit. So it could be 5. Bengals, Dolphins. I have the Bengals here, which makes it 6. Jets ain't gonna do anything. Yes. So that could be 6 of 8 against the spread. Yeah, I can see 6. I can see the morning slate going 6 of 8 for dogs. And then the afternoon games, I can easily see Oh, that's actually 5 of 7. Maybe it was 6 or 7. Probably 5 of 7. Um, or three, four, five, six, 7. We have Saturday games. Oh wow, that's weird. Oh wow, Saturday games are rug pulls. Okay, damn, this actually changes everything. I didn't know about this. I didn't notice this before. Okay, Saturday game. Yeah, so Saturday game. So essentially, um, I'm curious to see who's going to win this game. Last time we had a slate of games like this, it was during Thanksgiving, and all the underdogs won. I doubt that's going to happen again. I see Rams, Eagles, Packers all winning their games. I'm not sure if they cover the spread, but I mean Rams kind of have to. But yeah, I'm pretty sure all of these games go for the favorites, and that's why we get a sort of underdog heavy day over here. Um, 'Cause the way these stars, dog, 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 four, it's 3 or 4, dog, dog, 5 of 7. Yeah, I can see it going 5 of 7 in the morning, and then afternoon favorite, kind of like the favorite. This one could go either way. This one could go either way. This one's probably going to go. I gotta see it. I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh won this game, though. I really, really would. Um, yeah, 5 of 7 for dogs. Then we come in here and we go favorite, 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 favorite. I mean, all the favorites can win these games. So if we go 4 of 4 for favorites, 5 of 7 for dogs, we'd have a favorite heavy day. That would make sense for the Ravens to win, though. Hmm. Yeah, 5 of 7 for favorites. So it'll be five. No, five of 7 for dogs. So it'll be. Been going into it, you beat 2 and 5, and then you'd be if this goes 4 and 4, it'd be 6 of 5 going into the Monday night game, and that's why the Ravens would win. So yeah, I can definitely see the Ravens cleaning up here. If the morning slate goes dog heavy on the spread, and the afternoon cleans it up, or at least tries to balance it. So I don't think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Texas going to cover that. Jaguars could actually beat the Broncos, but I just don't know if that's going to happen. Steelers could beat the Lions. I don't know if that's going to happen either. But if we get even just one team sort of being a dog um, in that afternoon slate, then definitely look for the Ravens to sort of beat the Patriots because they've already set up the Patriots are already going to be a public dog. So it's just a perfect storm game for them to lose. Another thing about the Patriots too is that they haven't really played anybody. So it would make a lot of sense for them to lose that game. Where like they're losing to the teams that are more top tier. The narrative of that just makes a lot of sense. I got 5 or 7 dogs in the morning. Got maybe 10, potentially 204, 304 in the afternoon. Ravens winning on Sunday night. Favorites winning beforehand. And right here, Colts Niners. We got this is going to be an interesting game, actually. Let's see. So if we go 5 of 7 dogs, we go about, let's just say, we go 6 and 5 favorites. But then the favorites had crust early. So it'll be 6 and 5. It'll be 9 and 5 on the week, especially if this one goes. So 9 and 5 on the week. This makes it 10 and 5. And then we have this game. 10 and 5 favorites, very unbalanced. So that means the dog should win, which would be the Colts. Wow. That would be an interesting setup. Colts shock the Niners at home. It does make sense. Home underdog. Monday Night Football. Let me see. We probably would have a lot of. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a lot of people who are on the Colts as well. Yeah, a lot of people are on the Niners. 63% of the spread is already on the Niners. 92% of people think the Niners are going to win the game. Minus 279 favorites. So yeah, if the week finishes up very, very leaning favorites, 10 to 5. So there's barely any games where I can see the underdogs really winning. I would definitely think that the Colts are going to win on Monday Night Football against the Niners. Phillip Rivers versus Brock Purdy. It's not going to be that crazy of a difference. Home team advantage is a real thing. And then their running game is just as good as the Niners. So that can be really interesting. Plus, that spread is deceptive. 5-point spread is very, 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 very interesting. So, yeah, I do see Ravens, Colts, the favorites winning in the early games. And there's some other rug pull games here that I can easily see happening as well. But we'll see. So hopefully this should be an interesting week. This would be, I mean, to be honest, this seems like one of the easier weeks to make money. Now, this Rams game is going to be very, very telling to see what happens. So this is what I'm going to be watching closely. I'm a big Rams fan, so I'm going to be watching that game pretty closely, try to see what's about to happen. But yeah, I do expect that game to have some implications over here. So I do expect these games to follow suit, which is kind of crazy because the Packers sweeping the Bears would just be the most craziest thing. But you gotta trust it, bro. Gotta trust it. 5 to 7 in the morning. Probably favorite heavy in the afternoon, maybe 3 or 4, 4 or 4. And then the favorite to win at night. So one of these games, this game or this game, one of these games is going to go to the underdog. It's probably going to be the one that has the most money on the most one-sided one. And that should be interesting to figure out that one as well. So hopefully, someone's out there getting a lot of info from this. Spent a long time breaking these down and try to figure out where the opportunities are. So hopefully that's helpful. And Hopefully, everyone has a good week. It's also very close to Christmas. So, hopefully you're enjoying the Christmas break and all that type of stuff as well.